Drawing animals for complete beginners with pastel pencils, and this really is going to be a confidence building session, picking up some of my pencils. The goal of this whole lesson is to get you drawing. So many people buy the supplies, buy the paper, they've got it all there, then they freeze, they don't know what to do, how to even start. This lesson and the other confidence lessons I'm going to do later on are there for one thing: to get you going, okay? To unfreeze you, to give you the knowledge to start. And I'm going to use just a few pencils as well, just a few colors for this subject. Some of them I may not even use at all. These four I will be using. Carbothello, they're my favorite brand, so I thought I'd pick just the Carbothello ones. 210 for a nice vibrant bright yellow, 305 for the nice vibrant red, and then I've got purple for the beak, a 770. May use that in the eye, we'll see. The background, I thought I'd just use, these few colors and do the background with that. I need black and white, of course, so the blue is 400, purple is 770, black and white. The black is 750 and the white is 100. I may use these if you've got them in your set, 642, and I may want a bit of an orange in between. We'll see, may not use it. 221. So just a few pencils is enough to get you started. So first things first, what have we got here already? Pastel matte paper, if you can get it, if you've got it. Light blue is this grey kind of paper. I'm just using a bit of scrap that I had in one of my drawers, okay? Light blue hasn't got much texture. The darker the paper, the more texture, the more difficult you'll find to get a nice smooth effect. So light blue if you've got it. Light grey would also work. And then I've got a transfer line art drawing there, and I'm going to transfer the image using some white transfer paper. This is Royal Langnickel brand. You can use any. You want generally this white side down, the matte side down. Why am I using a white transfer paper? If I was using black transfer paper and I put these lines in, especially these that's in the yellow-red area of the feathers, there's a very good chance, if you've gone a little bit dark, that you're going to see the black lines through it. With white, we should be okay. I'm using a magnetic whiteboard. That makes it easier for me. You don't have to have one, but it does make it much easier because I can just put these magnets where I want. I'm just going to roughly line this up a bit, okay? This is just a very simple lesson. Do not stress about anything. If your drawing's a bit out of line, if whatever, don't stress about it. So when that's in place, I'm going to use a ballpoint pen. Nothing special about that either, just a normal one. Why am I using a ballpoint pen? It's just easier to see where I've actually gone around. Now you don't need to go pushing hard, but early on, fold your paper up and have a little test just to check the line is showing up. And it is. Sorry about if that's crackling so much for you. And all I'm going to do is just fairly carefully transfer the lines. Now you don't need many lines. You don't need to be putting in all of the little feather barbs and details. Let's keep this simple. Stress-free drawing. All I want at the end is for you to have followed along and have, as a result, a nice little drawing. But more importantly, one that's given you some confidence, where you now feel ready to tackle perhaps some of my other lessons. Because you've got to remember that when we're doing animals, it's not the easiest subject in the world, okay? So even what I would class as my easier lessons, it can be quite daunting looking. They've usually got fur or feathers, but they are almost always not as difficult to do as you would think. But the limiting factor very often is your confidence. Now hopefully this will build that confidence And then you think, oh, I could have a go at another one. And I've got free ones over on my Patreon channel. And of course, longer ones, paid ones, but free ones are great for you to make a start. Right. And to get access to those, all you've got to do is just go to my Patreon channel. I'll stick a link there. And then just join for free. And then you'll see all the collections. Everything's neatly organized in collections. And right up the top, you'll see free lessons. And I've got lots of free lessons on there for you. So I've almost done the lines. And then we'll pop this off. First of all, let's just pull it back. Yep, I can see I've got, it's good enough. Just drop that out of the way. And then that can be all the noise and the crackles stopped. Put my pen out the way as well. Right, just line that up. Don't worry about that bit of a smudge there. As I said, it's just a scrap piece of paper that I thought I'd make use of. I don't like waste. So this is a perfect opportunity. My magnets are really strong going on there. Just another one or two down the bottom. And then I can make a start. Now, I don't like doing just demonstrations. I like to tell you why I'm doing things. Because ultimately, I want you to be able to take away the knowledge so you can then apply it to subjects that really interest you. Okay? Let's pop that up a little bit more by there. So you need to know why I'm doing things as well. Right. I use a toned paper, so it's not a white paper. Let's bring our light over. It's not a white paper for a few reasons. Number one, if I used a white paper, the line art wouldn't show up. But also, whites won't show up on things. Okay, so say I was doing something like a snowy owl, which would be white. If I was using white paper, then when I was putting white on there, it wouldn't show up. Okay, and conversely, if I was using black paper and doing perhaps a gorilla, that wouldn't show up. Mid-tone paper I use almost all the time because lights will show up on it, okay, when I put lights down, and darks will show up on it when I put darks down. Best of all worlds. It makes drawing much, much easier. That's why I almost always use it. Right. Now we could put a bit of background in, but because I've got that mid-tone, let's just go straight in with some red. Let's start in the middle and work our way out. Now, this pencil, when we're doing the early layers like this, use them on its side. You don't want to be going like this, because if we go like that, I'm going to blunt it straight away and it'll cause more dust as well. Let's use it on its side. Quite gently. Look at the texture of the paper that you see in. Let's go around with it. Goes really red here, and now we could use a bit more control. So let's hold the pencil like a pencil, like we would normally hold a pencil or a pen. Goes up there, goes around here. Okay, that'll do. Got a bit down to the beak here. Now, don't worry about all the little colour changes that you may or may not be seeing. We'll get to those. And something to keep in mind is that when you start drawing or painting, anything like that, if you're not used to it, you need to be training your eyes and your brain to be able to see all these colours. I'm seeing a little bit of that red under there. I'm not pushing hard. So when you do more difficult subjects, you may see artists like myself that's got lots of experience seeing more colours, and they're saying things like, oh, putting purple in here, and you're thinking, purple? I can't even see purple. It's because as you practice more and more, you'll see more and more colours. They'll become apparent. Do not beat yourself up because you can't see them if you're just starting off. That's completely normal and to be expected. use that pencil on its side. Let's get the main colours in first. It's very, very yellow down here. I should have picked that drawing up a bit really, shouldn't I? Don't worry about it. Just a little test piece. That. And see if you can see the paper through it. We'll be blending a bit more. And you'll see in a moment that it'll go quite smooth. Every now and again I'm turning my pencil, okay? Otherwise I'll end up with just a wedge shape on there. I don't want that. Let's go down there as well. Okay, put that back on there. I've got the yellow coming here. Let's go around the beak. That down here. If you haven't got the exact colour, do not worry. If you're using pit pencils instead of Carbothello, don't worry about that either. It's just paper and time and exact colours we don't have to worry about. Okay. I think I'll sharpen that pencil. I'm using a swordfish sharpener. There's nothing special about it. It's as good as any of the others I've found. You will need to change, if you're using a crank handle type sharpener, you will need to change that blade fairly frequently. By the very nature of pastel and the pigments that are in pastels, it will, without a doubt, blunt the blade of any sharpener. Now alternatively, you could use a Stanley knife or blade that's similar. Turn that pencil. You see the wedge coming on there? Turn it. That ends up sharpening the pencil and allowing us to use it for a longer time. Win-win. Okay, let's bring that down here. It all looks extremely rough and childlike at the moment. And we're not after anything incredible. If you're starting off, give yourself a bit of a break. Don't expect too much. Wouldn't expect to ride a bicycle straight off. Let's not expect to be able to draw and paint straight off. So I've just put a little bit of yellow down there. Let's go back to the red. Put some more in. If you can manage to do it in the direction that we're seeing the feathers laying on the bird, like that, do that, because that will help. If any of these marks show up, which no doubt they will, they'll be in the right direction and look like feathers. And I'm just using quite light pressure going here. I'm just really tinting the yellow, just light pressure. Same there. Same up here. Let's put a little bit of red in there as well. A little bit up there. Right, let's go back to the yellow, and this time I'll drag some yellow into the red. Like I said, let's not go too complicated. I'm just using a few pencils. If I was doing this as a really, trying to get really accurate, I'd have more colours out, more pencils. So I'm going in that direction, back and forth. Right. Beauty of pastels is we've got the ability to blend, just like my other favourite medium, oils. That's what I did for 20 odd years, and then people wanted me to do pastels. So that's down again. I'm going to give that another sharpen, and then we'll give that a blend. Now, a good way to blend on a paper like this is just with clean fingers, okay? If you're using a rough paper, so say you was using perhaps brown or dark grey, which I wouldn't suggest for something as vibrant as this, but then you'd probably need to use a paper stump, okay? A softish paper stump, and that would help to blend it in, but it would be removing some pastel as well. So I'm just going to use my finger, clean finger, and we start with the yellow area and just go in circular motions. And it can go both ways if you want, circular motions. So stay in the yellow for now. Okay, go both ways. Not pushing hard, not hurting my finger at all, not putting much pressure on. This shouldn't be hurting elbows or wrists or anything like that. Right. Okay, now I give that a wipe on a microfiber cloth. If you want, you could use another finger and keep one for yellow, one for red. So all I'll do is just go into the red area and do the same again. Let's stay in the red by the eye for now. Let's do that bit where it's more of a pure colour. A little bit. Don't worry about it going into the eye. That's okay. Don't worry about it. And now I'll work my way out. So going from the red into the orange. And yes, we can give the finger a wipe again. It is contaminating the other colour, but it's blending. See that lovely blend going together? Blending and blending, making it soft. Okay, so now we can go in again and build up the layer. Let's get some more yellow, more vibrancy in there. Now if you wanted it even more vibrant, you'd use pastel sticks. Pastel sticks are, let me just get one for you. More vibrant, more punchy in colour, okay? They go, you see, even brighter in colour. Let's keep this lesson simple. Let's just use pencils and we'll get it as bright as we can. But sometimes if you want it super bright, pencils or even pan pastels, if you know about those, they would be the limiting factor. It only goes so vibrant, so bright. Okay, so let's brought some more yellow in. Let's bring some more into here. So I'll build enough pastel up so it looks smooth. Put some more in here in this direction. See the feathers come around like that. And kind of arc shapes. And then vibrant down here on the bottom. Let's come back in with the red. So here, it's really red. Right down to the eye. Very red here. Then up in here is red. And super red there as well. Then as we come here, it goes more orange. And just for the simplicity of this lesson, I'll just use the red and the yellow to make an orange. But as I said, normally I'd probably have a more accurate orange actually in the set, which I would then use. Right, so that comes down like that. See the feather details there. And then I'm going to tint this colour, but just put a little red. And if you want to go super light with your pencil, just use it on the side like this. Just the weight then of the pencil. The beauty of pastels is being able to blend them easily. So let's go like that. I've definitely got some reds and oranges coming up into this top. And around here as well. Right, clean finger again. A little bit more blending in there. Start with that yellow again. Same under here. Gently, small circular strokes. And then here I'll go in that direction of the feathers, just on the end, just to give it a soft appearance. And then I'll come into the reds. Very often with animal subjects, what we're trying to do is not create tons and tons of detail, but actually to get the softness as well. Think of how you think, or you believe that it would feel if you touched the feathers, the head. Would it be soft? Would it be spiky like a porcupine? That's what we're trying to create all the time. The actual look of what we think it would feel like. Let's put a little bit more red there. Okay, now we can start to bring out perhaps a few details. You don't want it to look too spiky all the time. Now, I'm not going to go crazy on details with this. This is a confidence building exercise. If you're feeling confident and you want to go even more detailed, go for it. But you don't need to. Little touches like that again. There. Now I could add yellow or the orange. Remember I picked this orange up and I said I didn't know if I'd even use it. But we could do. Let's put some details in like that. Just a few feather details. As we come closer to the yellow, I want to put some yellow in. Show up a bit more. So the beak ends there, so we've got some orangey colours coming around here, coming up into the red. Just gently does it. No stress on this drawing. It's an easy one. You can do it, but don't expect it to be incredible straight off. Allow yourself the time to learn, to practice. Okay, let's bring some more out here. I think I'll bring some more reds out. Soften that edge a little bit again. Right. Perhaps a few more yellows down here. Right, we're not going crazy with details, so let's just do a few more up here and then leave it at that. Right there, isn't it, where that light is catching. Now up here, perhaps a little bit of orange. Oh, I'm terrible with details. I've got to rein myself in a lot. I like to keep going. And if that's what you like to do as well, that's fine. Right, blend that. A couple more bits of yellow, in fact. A bit more orange here. There. Now push yourself back on your chair every now and again so that you can assess what you're doing. Otherwise you can get so wrapped up in it that you don't really see the big picture, so to speak. You could be looking at details so much that you're missing out on the important parts. Like colour and tonal value. Tonal value is the lights and the darks. A few little feather thingies in there. And perhaps a little bit of that orange down in here. There, that's pretty good. That's okay, I'm happy with that. Right. Let's put in the black of the eye. Now, I can reach it because it's a small drawing, but if it wasn't a small drawing, you'd need to be resting on the bird, possibly resting on it. And we can use something called glassine paper. Now, if you've bought pastel mat in sheets, this is the stuff that comes in between the sheets. You have to excuse my dirty hands. I was doing a big gibbon drawing yesterday and it doesn't come off. Right, okay, so let's have a look. Let's put the black in first. So it comes around like that and then comes around to the bottom. It's not a complete circle, not on this bird at least. Small circular strokes, filling it in. And as you do that, you see that the grain of the paper then gets filled up with the pastel. I also got myself this purpley colour. What was it? 642. That's good for the outer edge, the outer rim around the eye. Don't need it, not essential, but I got it in my set, so I'll use it. A little bit going in there, and I'll use white for the rest. Now, I can actually see a bit of the eye in there, the colour. So if I go like that, I'll just give a tint of that on there, and now let's use some white to go around the eye. This is going to make everything look more vibrant and really pop. Around the top. This is a lesson you can do. Around the bottom. Right down to that red. If it gets dirty with red, just give it a wipe. Microfiber cloth. Like that. Let's go around the top, up to there. If you are going into the colour, give it a wipe. Otherwise you could contaminate into the white, and we don't particularly want that. Okay, and that comes around there. And so that's the basic colour blocked in, the basic white, okay? Now it comes out into this orange area and the red areas. So let's do a bit of that. And that's probably about it. Yeah, doesn't need to be perfect. Now let's use this purpley colour. It's a little bit dark. Use that to tint in here. I didn't want to get out too many colours and confuse you with colours. Okay, I can go over it with white just to subdue it. Gentle pressure, just gentle pressure. Like that. Let's put a bit over this too. I don't need that to be too dark and right around the eye. There. And that line there doesn't need to be dark either. And now we can bring a little bit of this red, orange down into it. So a couple of dots in there. Right up to the edge there. There's a dot or two in there as well. Okay, and now the highlight. Highlight in the corner, that'll help to bring that eye to life. There, and if you want you could put a little bit of blue in there too. Usually makes it look a bit more realistic. Right, I'm happy with that. Let's take a look. Magnets off. It's coming okay. Got a dot of something by there. Let's get rid of that. Right. Let's move to the beak. Put the glassine paper out the way. Be less clicking for you to hear. Right. The beak. I like the look of this purpley colour. Carbothello 770. And in fact, my glassine paper is coming back. I want to protect what I've just drawn. Let's move that out the way. Okay. Let's go around the edge to start with. Let's get the shape right. And then it comes pointy at the bottom to about there. And this comes around to about there, roughly. And let's get the bottom part in while I'm at it. It's going to come up around here, like that. Dark around there, like that. Then we got that really dark area in the middle. There, that's about right. That's not far off. Now I can use my pencil on the side again if I want. This might look a little bit too purple, but I've got some black that I can tone it down with. Let's just get the colour in first. I haven't done that section yet. I'll be joining different colours together, so let's do that in a while. Now, the purple is quite pronounced here. And there. And then it goes, well, it is here as well. And then I'll use a bit of white, I think, on top. Right. Now, remember I said about a stump. We could use that now because it's maybe a bit fiddly for our fingers to go in. This is a Derwent one. They are quite pliable. Let's go round in circles again, just as like as if we was using the pencil. Round in circles, and you can see, yes, it does get lighter, but it gets smoother looking. Okay, look how rough it looks there. You see it goes smooth. And that's okay because we can go back on top and make it dark. Now let's go up into this with a dirty stump. That's automatically going to look a bit lighter. Hey, that's not too bad. Right, let's go back over it. Like that. As I said, this makes it darker. I can see lots of different colours in there. You may not be able to see them, I can see them. And it's up to us then if we want to put them in today or just keep this really basic. Now, I'm going to lighten this by using some white. White's the most opaque of all the colours. When we blend with it, it'll make it look very smooth. You see white, because it's powdery, but not powdery as in dust goes everywhere. It's very opaque. Right, okay. Let's sharpen this yellow a little bit more. Give it a couple of turns on the sharpener. I'm definitely seeing this looking more green. So let's go in it with some yellow. Just on the side, weight of the pencil. Remember I said about you may not see colours until you're more experienced. This is that kind of thing going on. I'm seeing yellows, I'm seeing oranges, colours bouncing off the feathers up into the beak. Let's blend that a bit more. Because they're quite subtle, but they're there. And darker up in here. Definitely more orange down on the bottom. And we can go back and forward with the colours. See subtle colour changes that start to make it look more real. Like that. Alright, let's put that black in, because by putting the black in, we will get an idea of how much darker we need to make the beak, if any. That comes around the top. Quite thin by there, and then it goes down in there, up here, like that. Okay, that's not too far off. Perhaps I can make this a bit darker in there with the black on top. I can have that white line there, maybe a bit darker down here, maybe a bit darker on the beak there. Little blend again. Okay, so I could use the white now to outline that edge, and then less pressure as I come there, because I don't want it so dark, so light, sorry. And then around here, and then Up in here, I'm seeing kind of the pinky colour. Around the nose area. It's quite dark in here in the hole. It's not black though. It's not that dark, so let's put that on and perhaps a bit of the pinky colour on top. And then a little of the white, just to lighten it up. Remember, we're not after perfection because we're only practicing with this. And now, how about putting some of these little marks on to help that look like it's more realistic? Just little dots and dashes and lines. And then as I come down here, it's going more towards the... I won't use that pinky colour. I'll use the white. I didn't like the pinky colour. Right around like that. More scuff marks around here. And we've got some definitely on this beak here. Only a few. Okay. Make sure the finger's cleanish. Right. Now, let's do that section. Let's do this next section. So what are we seeing? I'm seeing reds and oranges down here. So let's get some red in first. And it's kind of this shape, like that for the red. Not too much, don't want it too vibrant. A bit of red, I can see a bit of orange in there too. And it comes down in kind of a V shape down there. And then it comes around the area of the neck. And it goes up, right. And this is more orange, okay. But I can see it needs to be darker. So let's put a touch of blue in there as well. So I've got red in there, I've got yellow in there, and I've got blue, so they should all cancel each other out. And give me kind of a neutrally colour. It's just creating a bit of shadow. A little bit of orange back on there. Or in fact, a bit of the yellow. So yellow and the blue will make it more green. And then let's finger the little circular motions again. Let's see how that turns out. That's not too bad. Perhaps it should be warmer in there. So here, let's touch up that red a bit more. Like that. More the orange, just subduing that edge there. And then the lightest touch of a blue. And I think what it needs is a little bit more like orange down here. pick out a few lines there, feathers. Okay, that's looking okay, isn't it? Right. Now, we could leave it at that if you wanted to and not bother with the background at all. Or we could put a background in. A darkish background will help to make the bird stand out. So let's go in with the blue. Like I said, I'm not going crazy detail on this. But do you see how it's making that bird stand out from the page? Now I'm keeping it limited colours, okay? So we'll do what we can do with the colours that we've got. Comes out a bit like that. Right. So I can use the pencil on this side. It's better if you're doing this flat on a table. Because that way you're not going to get the pastel dropping down on the bird, okay? But I need to do it like this so you can see the video. Now if you put in a big background, it's obviously going to wear your pencils down fast. And that's where things like pastel sticks really are an advantage. Now see a mark like that? That's where I've creased in there with something else. Like I said, this is a scrap of paper. So it's not perfect quality, but I didn't want to, it seems it was the right size, I thought I'd use it. It comes down around here, have a little bit in there. Could have done the background before the beak, to be honest. Would have made that a little bit easier. Okay, so that's a first coat of some blue in there. Let's put a little bit of white on top. As I said, that'll help it to blend more. And I don't want it to all be in a uniform colour, really. Have a bit of lighter up here. And down to the feathers. And then a bit of light up by the beak as well. Just to help the beak stand out more. that. What if we put a little bit of yellow in there? Because it'll make it a bit more green. And then we give it a blend. I'll see how it's coming along. May take a good few layers with a pencil, because as I said, it's not depositing lots of pastel down like a pastel stick would. The more pastel you put down for a background, the more it will soften, blend and blur. See how that's going soft now compared to these areas. Quite like using colours we're seeing in the bird in the background as well. Maybe even some of this pinky colour. And come right down to the edge. I don't want a halo type of effect going on there. It's going smoother with each new layer. But if you've got pastel sticks, this is the time to use them. They're much, much, much better, easier than pastel pencils for backgrounds. Much easier. Just want to make sure I haven't got a halo like that around the edge. Just go over that little bit of white. I'll bring the yellow back up in a moment into it. And quite a bit of this edge. Let's not overcomplicate this bird. Let's put a little bit of light there. Right, that's not too bad, is it? For a pencil background there. Now, just to tidy up the edge. Now, a little secret here. If you want to bring a yellow or something over into a dark, if you go like that, you'll pick up the dark and then it'll retransfer in. Okay, so what you want to do is dap the pencil onto the microfiber cloth every stroke or two, maybe one stroke. You may get away with a couple of strokes. But if you go in far into it, don't go into the dark and then come back into a vibrant area, because it'll definitely contaminate it. Now up here, let's just get some yellow in there first, like that. Then I'll bring the colours out into the dark. Same up here. Let's just tidy up this section as well. And a little bit here. Okay. Touch up that area, the purple on the beak. And then have a look and see if I think there's anything else that need just a little bit of light touches. This is where you can go to town, and if you love details, this is where you can put those details in. Remember, this is a confidence building lesson. I've got lots and lots of lessons that go from beginner to super advanced. I wanted this one just to inspire you to have a go. Because you don't know what you're missing with art if you don't have a go. So many people try it and they find it changes the way they look at life completely. Never see colours the same again after you've started observing the colours in nature. And so let's leave it at that. And I hope you've enjoyed this one. I really would love you to have a go. Let me know how you get on. And I'll see you all on the next lesson.